It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Diller.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And what we love most of all is movie trailers, Mike, is what you should have said there. I thought you were going to say.
I was like, did I say something wrong?
No, you said everything right. Yeah, this week is Comic-Con Brazil, and Comic-Con Brazil, CCXP, is a very much a wild card in terms of news we're going to get. So
it's the sleeper con of all cons.
Yeah, it's down there in Brazil, so we've got literally trailers like nobody's business this week, and what we're going to talk about: Guardians of the Galaxy, Transformers, Indiana Jones, and just so much more. So many other things going on here. So
literally every other bullet point in our notes this week is a trailer. Yeah. And they just kept coming this week. Like, we had big ones right at the top of the week, and then it was every other day a new trailer, a new trailer, a new trailer. And I was like, hey, I already made the art for the episode this week. I can't cram any more in there. We're just going to leave it the way it is.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, like, I don't know if maybe they released them because of Comic-Con Brazil, or if they're trying to get them in front of, Avatar at the end of this month. I don't know what's going on, but it's crazy.
I wonder if there's like just kind of like a bit of media savvy there, where it's like everyone's going to be going home for the holidays. We want to prep people's brains with all of the new properties that they're going to be seeing next year, so they can talk to their families about it. That would be my insider guess.
Yeah, well, and I'll tell you what, it worked, because this weekend, my father-in-law, we combined Thanksgiving and Christmas into one weekend, and we did that yesterday. And on the ride up there, I was talking to my brother and sister-in-law who rode with us, about some of these trailers, like what's going on, like, because I was like every time I kept thinking about, I'm like, oh, here's another one, oh, and here's another one, and here's another one, and they had their phones in the car so they could watch them, in the backseat while we're driving. I was like, you watch this one, and this one, this one. So, I definitely think it worked out really, really well in that favor. And I would say the other thing, my in-laws, we did a white elephant this year, Mike. We normally just get gifts for each other. There's only like 6 of us, so it's not a huge event. But this white elephant, literally, the point of a white elephant is to open a gift and steal a gift, right? You always want to steal the better gift. Actually, we all bought gifts for each other, so only one gift was stolen the entire night, and the rest everyone got matched up with who they are. So my first gift was stolen. I actually opened a game called Florida Man. It's a card game.
Okay.
It's essentially 2 truths and a lie. You're going to read off 3 headlines about Florida people and these shenanigans they're up to, and you have to guess which one was the lie. And if you get that right, you move up. You have this little game board. It's like Florida. The points to get to Key West, and like I said, nobody wins in Florida Man, the game. But the other game, so my mother-in-law, she stole that. The other, the next one I opened up was literally a Fortnite Monopoly game. And they had no idea I played Fortnite. They just saw it and thought it looked like a really cool version of Monopoly. I'm like, well, this is perfect for me. I'm gonna keep this. Does anyone want to steal this? No. My wife got opened up a Harry Potter game for her. I'm like, this is just fantastic. Everybody knows everybody here. So it was really fun. But I think, like you mentioned, holidays and topics, video games are dropping. We'll talk about some of that here in a little bit, and other things. So it's a great season to bring all this up with the family, right? It's a lot easier to talk about this than the fall of Twitter as we know it. So anyway, so let's get into what we've been doing, because I want to talk about these trailers with you. We mentioned in passing, but I think there's some great conversation here. So let's go ahead and jump in. What have you been doing? You've been watching actually a series based on video game.
Yes, much like Arcane, which was, God, I don't even remember more, earlier this year or maybe late last year. Arcane was like the anime adaptation of League of Legends. So now there's a new adaptation that came out relatively recently called Cyberpunk Edgerunners. And the only reason I really wanted to watch this was I kept hearing people say this show in conversation the same time they would talk about Arcane. They're like, oh, what are your favorite like video game adaptations? And they would say like, oh, Arcane, Edgerunners are always right next to each other. So I was like, okay, I'll check this out. So I booted up there on Netflix, and very similar to Arcane, where I don't know anything about League of Legends. I don't know anything about Cyberpunk. I only know about the drama around its
literally
the release of the game.
Yeah, the bugs and the graphical issues everybody had with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I asked you earlier, like last week, I was like, do people still play that game? And you're like, oh no, it's like huge. They fixed it. It's like good to go. You can play it now.
And there's DLC, and there's a next gen version coming out soon. So yeah, everyone's into that right now.
Yeah, wild. So the show's really crazy. It's really adult, graphic at times, so definitely don't show it to your kiddies. But it kind of reminded me of kind of watching anime back when I was a teenager.
Oh yeah.
You know, getting like really energized about like these high paced action scenes, and they would do something like really adult or graphic, and be like, oh, gross! They just pulled that thing out of that person. So if you're kind of looking for maybe a little bit of that in your anime, I would recommend Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Mm-hmm. I was surprised with all the kind of like critical like buzz I was hearing around it. It didn't get renewed for a second season, which is a big bummer. I thought for sure I was going to be able to Google Edgerunners after I finished season 1 and be like, oh, season 2 renewed, but no, it got canceled. I was like, how? Like, I guess maybe not enough people went and watched it, but like now I could say there's a new classification of content out there, which is similar to back in the day with like the He-Man cartoons of like Arcane and Edgerunners is like the best commercials ever made for these video games, and not in a cynical way, I would say, because they're just kind of riffing off of the world. They're not really doing like a one-to-one adaptation, because you can't really do that with League of Legends anyway. You know, it's like an
it's not a story-based game. It's very much
exactly. But you could do that with Edgerunner. So that was fun. The Cyberpunk world seems really cool. So after watching the show, I'd be like, oh, I want to play the game now. I want to be in there. Yeah. So I'm glad that you said that they're working on a next gen version, because I was just going to go out and buy like the current gen version, but I'll wait until that new.
You can, and you'll get the free upgrade. But if you just want to go straight in with the next gen, I'd wait for that rather than do that. But I bought it when it came out. I had no real inclination of it. It is fun, you know. It's the big thing it's known for is its graphical glitches and Keanu Reeves as a character, literally modeled in the game. He's not Keanu Reeves in the game, but you know he's modeled in there. So it's really fun. It's got like I would say very akin to a if you like Skyrim in the future, right? Like literally a futuristic Skyrim, if you will. But you know, both of those games you mentioned, this here, Cyberpunk and what was
Arcane.
Not Arcane. It's the other game. The Witcher are owned by the same company, CD Projekt Red. They're the ones who have created the games for these.
Oh yeah, and I didn't even realize now that you say Witcher that all three of those things are on Netflix.
Yes,
I guess that's a strategy over there.
Yeah, League of Legends is, I believe, Riot Games, but Cyberpunk and Witcher are both a CD Projekt Red. So that's interesting. You know, it sounds like Netflix is going all in on the Witcher stuff, right? They're even without Henry Cavill, they're recasting. They've got 2 spin-offs. One of them's coming out this week. Or this month, and another one was announced recently. But like they're going all in on these properties.
Yeah, you got to find the IP where you can, right? I was at a Target the other day, and I saw these really cool Lego sets that were Pokemon characters. I was like, oh wow, finally like Lego got into the Pokemon game. No. This was Mega Bloks.
Mega Bloks, yeah.
The lesser block. Got the sponsorship from got the license from Pokemon. I was like, man, Lego, you letting the ball drop.
The same thing with Halo. Mega Bloks got the Halo license as well, which I thought was interesting because I was like, well, that's a huge name, right? You'd want Lego to back that up, but so I mean that's cool. I mean, back to the original Cyberpunk Edgerunners is interesting enough that you want to play the game now because the game does have a, I would say, redness ledger, right? For its history, so that's good to know. It's brought people back into the game for that. So
cool. So if you're in for an adult romp, go check out Edgerunners. Yeah. But Chris, you've been playing something brand spanking
new. Came out Friday because video games come out Fridays now. I thought they were always Tuesdays, but now the Fridays came out Friday. It's actually paused on the screen behind me right now. I was playing it earlier. Is Marvel's Midnight Suns. This game is very the first hour is very dialogue heavy because they're building you into this world where literally Tony Stark and Doctor Strange are using science and magic to help defeat this demon lady Lilith, and you play as a custom created character called the Hunter, which is her daughter, And the whole point of this game is there's three phases to every mission, Mike. One is you wake up for the day and you go and interact with people, like training, sparring, sending your characters on missions to unlock new cards for your abilities. Then you go do missions. So right now I'm currently defeating a demonized Venom with Spider-Man, the character Magic from New Mutants, and my character. And the way it looks visually top down, kind of like Ultimate Alliance, which people are familiar with, and I think people would know that reference. But it plays in a very tactical. It's based on a company called XCOM, but it's tactical. So you get a handful of cards. You can play 3 cards every turn, and you can position your characters around the map, and then you try to beat the Hydra enemies or the big boss while it's going on. So you do this, and then at the end of it, you actually go through and you have like, it's very much like I wouldn't say like, it's like a character relationship simulator at the end of the day. So you go talk to your characters in this big, called the Sanctuary world, and you try to become better friends with them so you can unlock better cards and more abilities with them. So it's got 3 very distinct portions, which is really cool, but like that first hour is a slog, which is, of course, every game always has like, oh, here's the world and here's how you play the game. I'm like, okay, let's get through this. I want to get to the part where I'm beating people up, because playing the superheroes in this world is really cool, and having like the options. I played as Robbie Reyes, the Ghost Rider with the car. One of his abilities is literally just drive your car in a straight line through everybody who's in that straight line. It was fantastic. Captain Marvel, she's like a tank. She comes in and beats people up pretty good. Doctor Strange is summoning magic weapons he's attacking with. It's really fun. But I think you've got to understand what you're getting into before you buy this game. It's not just a straight action romp like Ultimate Alliance. Like, there's very much a dialogue heavy driven portion of this where you're choosing dialogue trees and creating relationships with the characters. Yeah. All kind of like Mass Effect, which I know is free on PlayStation this month. So if people are
it seems like Marvel games might not quite be in like a renaissance just yet, but they got the Spider-Man games that are out there doing really, really well. This game has been highly anticipated. I'm not entirely sure what the critics are saying receptively.
80 to 90% right now across.
That's good.
The board. Yeah.
And then on top of that, we got all of these kind of like more higher profile, like AAA titles that were just announced. So
and the Guardians game.
This could really be popping off for Marvel here.
Yeah, and I'm excited for the Wolverine game too.
And also the mobile game that is constantly advertised to me on Twitter. Yeah. It's like all of the advertisers left Twitter, and the only thing left is like the Marvel Snap account. Yeah, probably just like prepaid for all of these slots a long time ago.
Yeah. We don't care what your politics are on Twitter. Just play our damn game. It's on a phone. But Marvel Snap is fun. But and then also unrelated to this, the new Fortnite chapter dropped today, and they're finally putting Hulk in the game. And one of the teasers is literally Hulk on a dirt bike, because you can drive dirt bikes in the game now. So I was like, that's pretty funny.
There's a character in Elden Ring. It's a gigantic boss, like a huge hulking creature that rides around on a tiny real-sized horse.
Oh, so man, that's funny.
I'm just envisioning a gigantic Hulk, not a little tiny dirt bike.
Yeah.
How does he accelerate? Does he just use like his fingers and his thumb?
I didn't get that close to his hands, but he's like, it looks like a clown on like a little tricycle is how big he looks. It's pretty funny.
On dirt bike Fortnite.
You're gonna see
what this looks like. All right. No. Oh, there it is.
His legs are like up in his chin, kind of thing. Like it's so big. But.
Yeah, it kind of looks like what's that dirt bike game that I played before? I don't remember what it was, but it's kind of like a side-scrolling dirt bike game where you're just trying to get through like little puzzles.
You're doing the ramps and like you're trying to like make all this stuff. Trials. It's called Trials.
Trials. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It looks like Hulk's playing Trials.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. So so I've got Midnight Suns behind me, and Fortnite queued up later. And then lastly, the other thing I wanted to say I watched, because I actually did watch something this week, is a very fun little thing on Entertainment Weekly with actor Brett Goldstein, who is known for playing Hercules in Thor: Love and Thunder, or I don't know his character's name in Ted Lasso, but he's the guy in Ted Lasso everybody thought was a hologram, because he just
Roy Kent was his name.
Yeah, there you go. Sat down to have a quote-unquote interview with the Muppets from the Muppet Christmas Carol on its 30th anniversary this year. The Muppet Christmas Carol is a staple in our house. My wife listens to the soundtrack when she's decorating her tree, and we always watch it. It's really fun because Michael Caine, right, a classic actor, Michael Caine plays Scrooge, and there's always it's told from the point of view of Gonzo and Rizzo, which are fun. So this is really fun to have Brett Goldstein sit down and interact with the Muppets, right? They're like talking about how they're remembering making the movie and their favorite parts of the movie. Mike, you watched a little bit of it. You said your favorite part was the Robin saying, "I liked it when Tiny Tim didn't die at the end of the movie."
Yeah,
because Robin played Tiny Tim. So I've talked about this more recently with the new version coming on Disney Plus with that extra song here in a couple weeks. So this is really fun for them to kind of kick that off here. I've included the link. It's got the text interview, but you can also watch it as well. And see
I have a fun Brett Goldstein anecdote, actually, conveniently timed for your watching.
Oh, nice.
We went to a comedy show on Thursday this week. It was a Pete Holmes and Friends comedy show. So only knew I was getting Pete Holmes, which is great because that's what we went there for. But, you're always wondering when you go to these shows, who's going to be the and friends? Mm-hmm. I expect Pete Holmes, being a talented and accomplished comedian, will have funny friends. So I'm always expecting the talent that he brings out to be funny. But, there's a chance I'm probably not going to know them, or there'll be some sort of niche comic or whatever that's maybe written on TV shows or movies, but, I'm not really familiar with. But he brings out Brett Goldstein, which was wild because I didn't even know the guy did stand-up comedy. I knew he did behind the scenes stuff writing and directing, but I didn't know he did stand-up comedy. So he just comes out just does some stand-up, really funny, talks about the difference of what it's like living in America now, and people didn't warn him about some things that he has not adapted to just yet. But it was just wild. He's like, wow, I'm looking at Roy Kent. He's just feet away from me on stage. I didn't know he did stand-up comedy. And then Judd Apatow came out, which was wild too.
Wow. That's a stacked lineup right there already.
Yeah, it was a star-studded night. Some other comedians. So yeah, got to see Brett Goldstein in the flesh. He made a joke where he referenced his height. So if anyone want to know how tall he was, according to Brett Goldstein, he's 5'11". But I told my wife, I was like, I think he looks shorter to me, but I think it might have been an optical.
No, I've heard Hollywood height just minus 2 inches, and that's what it really is.
Well, sometimes when your t-shirt is too long and it makes your legs look shorter, but your torso look longer. So I think that's kind of what was going on.
Okay.
Going on there a little bit. So it's
because he's not real. It's because he's not real. He's not a real person. He's a hologram. He's CGI, and he was drawing attention to that. That way you'd be like, well, maybe he is a real person. No.
Yeah, but Brett Goldstein's he's a hot ticket right now.
Yes.
He's working with the Muppets, Ted Lasso.
Muppets, Marvel.
Apparently he's created by artificial intelligence as well.
Yeah, and he's Hercules in Marvel, so he's got everything going up for him. So good for him. So. Let's jump into news. First and foremost, again, we said Brazil Comic-Con CCXP is going on this week. Everybody that I can think of is there, except maybe Warner Brothers. I didn't see anything. We have some DC news, but none of this I think came out of Brazil. I think it just came out of their social account. So we'll talk more about that later. But everybody else is down there. Everyone's having a good time. They're bringing their A game. Maybe I don't know the film market down there, but maybe it's huge, right? Maybe they have a really big market down there, and we just don't know it. So it's really cool to do that. One of the things I think who owns Transformers, Mike? Is it Universal? Is this?
It's Hasbro. So
right,
but
who does the
Hasbro,
movie?
It probably would be Universal. They have a very strong presence in the Universal theme park, so maybe Universal has the film rights at the moment.
Yeah, so if not, either way, there is a Transformers Rise of the Beast, our first trailer coming out. We talked about this, a week or two ago. Things are coming. We saw the first mug, so obviously, if we get the mugs, the merch, the trailer's not far behind. So we got our first trailer of this upcoming Transformers movie, and first and foremost, just to explain people where everything exists in Transformers now, this is apparently a sequel to Bumblebee, which was set in the 90s, so this might be early 2000s, but still before if it is going to connect to Michael Bay's movieverse, this is still before the first Transformers movies they ever did. The farther they stay away from that, I think the better they're going to be, right? Bumblebee's a fantastic, a fun adventure for Transformers. And what we get in this is really fun for me because we get to see our Beast Wars in live action. Like, I've got a giddy grin on my face because I love Beast Wars. I love my Maximals. I love my Predacons. I don't collect a lot of action figures, but I tell you how many Beast Wars I have. At least 30. I can tell you right now. So we get to see Ron Perlman. We don't see him. We hear him voice Optimus Primal in the big monkey form that we talked about. Obviously, these animals are huge, right? We just debated that last time. How big are they really going to be? They don't hide these animals' size. You literally see Cheetor running beside Bumblebee at one point, or one of the cars, and he's like twice the size of the car.
I mean, the funny thing is I kind of forgot they kind of have shrunk the normal Autobots because it's been a while since I've seen Bumblebee, but they show, I think Optimus does make a cameo in Bumblebee. Possibly.
Yeah, at the end. I think he's at the end of it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so we get to see, Optimus, the truck version of him. I get it confused because we're getting lots of different Optimuses.
Yeah. We'll just say Primal on this one and just regular Optimus.
We get to see Optimus in his truck form, and it's like small truck. Like, I think it's maybe... Okay, here's the problem. I don't know Transformers lore. I don't know all these little bits and bobs. But I assume Optimus is just smaller when he doesn't have his trailer. Like, does his trailer is what adds extra mass, and that's how he got to be so tall next to, like, Shia LaBeouf? Because he's looking smaller, which makes the animals kind of look big, bigger, but also small at the same time.
Yeah.
So we're playing with scale here, but everything seems to be a lot smaller. Like, the main actor who was in Into the Heights... there's like a shot at the end of the trailer where he jumps out of the Porsche, and then the Porsche transforms, and the Porsche is only like twice as tall as him. Like, it's small.
They seem like they've scaled them back in Bumblebee in this to like the animated show size, right, compared to the people. Because I agree. I remember it's like one of the other Transformers movies, like 2 or 3 or whatever. I lost track. Where like Optimus is like hovering over everybody, right? He's like 20 times taller than a human, and you're like, what the hell happened? And obviously it's Michael Bay thinking bigger is obviously better all around. So if no one's, I think the people putting this, are trying to make it seem, hey, these are more realistic, right? A car that transforms isn't going to be 3 times the size of the car's mass total when it's said and done. So. But either way, I believe that the Porsche is actually voiced by Pete Davidson in this movie as well.
What isn't Pete Davidson doing?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we get to see Primal in the gorilla mode. We get to see Cheetor, who does it. They both do transforms in this, right? You get to see him do the transform on the big. There's a big battlefield with a lot of Autobots going on.
Yeah,
and the Decepticons, I believe, they're Predacons. Maybe they're not the normal. It's not the T-Rex version of Megatron in this. It's other people. We can see Airazor and Rhinox as well. Airazor is the big bird who's like destroying a bridge at some point. So I'm pretty excited to see these in live action. I can tell just by looking at this, there's not really a whole lot for me to grab onto other than, hey, there's Transformers and they're arguing with each other. But I'm going to lean on my 90s nostalgia for my Beast Wars and be like, yeah, I like these guys. Other than that, there's not really much to glean out of this, right? Looks like a Transformers movie.
Yeah, I don't know if chronologically this was the very first trailer we got last week, but I legitimately forgot about it. So maybe that goes to say not a whole lot of staying power here when it's competing against all these other trailers.
Yeah, well, it's just like a big mess of action, right? Like there's no story beats, which is why what's missing. Because the villain is a bad robot called Scourge, and all the bad robots. A bad
robot? No.
Yeah, well,
bad robot in a Transformers movie?
Yeah, but all the bad robots look the same, right? I'm like, if you told me it's Scourge, I'm like, well, which one was he? I don't know. He's the dark one, I guess. Fuck, I know. But it's not the first trailer. The first trailer was actually Mario Brothers, and we'll talk about that later. Because I kind of forgot about that one a little bit. At least I tried to forget it, because the hell with you. But anyway, so Transformers Rise of the Beast. All these trailers are also in our show notes, by the way, so you can click on the show notes, watch the trailer right away, and their official channels on YouTube. So you can check that out right now. Check out the cool beast coming our way June of next year in theaters. The other trailer, this is Mike was even confused here, and I'll explain to you. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. There's a Ant-Man Legacy trailer released, and it's not a real new story trailer. It just tells Ant-Man's like this is Ant-Man from 1, where Michael Douglas needs you to be the Ant-Man, and he was released from prison, and this is a story across it. Kind of setting up the stakes for this one, Quantumania being huge, which
Yes.
we do know this. We know Quantumania is literally leading to our next Avengers movies, and like we said, is way more important than a shrinking briefcase tower that they're chasing. So
Yes, these legacy trailers are just more and more proof that the MCU is just one very expensive TV show, and these are just episode recaps,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I'll probably there's not a whole lot there, I would say, to Ant-Man. I guess there's more than what you think there's going to be. I mean, you got the first 2 movies, so if you can just kind of remember what happens in there, you're good to go.
Yep.
He pops up in Civil War. Pops up again in Endgame.
Yeah, Endgame. I would say Ant-Man 1-2 Endgame. Civil War is just a fun cameo to show that he can do growing instead of just shrinking. But that's really about it.
Yeah.
Because I think in Endgame, it shows they are using the quantum realm, right, to do all this stuff with time travel, and Kang obviously is going to be doing some of that shit. So, either way, this Legacy trailer is a fun little thing. Just a recap. Not too much, not anything new. Teasing Kang at the end of it. The other thing is we had a leak of the MODOK Funkos last week. They were officially released, so if you want to go look those up, go look them up. I didn't include them.
Chris, real quick, when it comes to recaps, we know how I'm always talking about. I go on YouTube to look up recaps for things. I saw one of the recap channels that I like just did an entire recap of the entire series of The Walking Dead.
Oh, Jesus.
And it's only 40 minutes long, surprisingly, for as many hours of content that they made. So, I'm probably just going to sit down one day and just, instead of, throwing up an episode of something I want to watch, I'm just going to watch this recap and just, speed run The Walking Dead, and I'll be caught up.
Well, I'm going to say, do you want to, because they are doing the Rick Grimes, TV movies, are you going to, are you just going to wait till those are done?
I don't think they're doing those anymore.
They are. The end of the show ends with the next thing for him, which is Rick Grimes again.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
They're not theatrical movies anymore. They're like Paramount Plus probably, or AMC Plus.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
And then there's a Negan and Maggie show coming too. Right, so, you're not done. You can watch this, and then you're gonna have to watch another one whenever it's all said and done.
Maybe, I don't know. This is just me advocating for recap channels. There's too much out there to watch in the world. Don't feel like you can't take the Cliff Notes version of it.
That was one of my favorite parts of Andor, is you got to watch the recap of the last episode, or what's happened in the story, important beats up until that episode. So there is still a relevance for it on streaming shows today that are coming out weekly. So kudos to that. Big drop this week. I would say this might be the biggest trailer we got this. Well, these next two are huge.
Yeah, maybe tied with the next one.
Okay. This one I think is pretty awesome as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I've seen the leaked trailer from San Diego Comic-Con, Mike. I think I sent it to you as well. So we've seen a very awkward angle. So we get our first official trailer for Guardians 3. James Gunn is, huge in DC right now, so this is probably his last Marvel project for a long time, if not ever. So to see the Guardians pick up, years later, it has been, 2016 when we got the Guardians last? So it's been a long time, and this trailer, hit with it's got some real good humor. It's got some emotional looking scenes. I love the song. The song I actually put in here is called "In the Meantime" by the band Space Hog, but that shows that they're moving into the 90s era of music, right? Since you got that Zune at the end of Guardians 2. So we're not just stuck with 70s 80s rock, or they're moving into that. So really cool soundtrack. Mike, what do you think of it?
Oh man, I'm worried. I'm worried. If we know anything, James Gunn is not afraid to kill characters, which is not a bad thing, but it means everything's at stake, right? I mean, if this trailer is telegraphing anything, it's that Rocket is gonna die. And I don't know if it's just a misdirect, but it's almost so overt, right? Rocket gets a lot of really emotional kind of narration to the trailer. There's literally a shot of him on the ground with his fur ripped off, and you can see metal plates under him.
Yeah, cybernetic plates. Yeah.
And then there's a whole dream scene where it looks like he's in this white void, and he's got this emotional look on his face. Cut to Peter screaming with
like a table.
looks like probably
Yeah.
like a ventilation tube. I was like, oh, they're gonna fucking kill Rocket, and I'm gonna cry. So Rocket's like my favorite member of the Guardians. So
well,
I hope they don't do it. I don't want them to go. And I get it, like emotionally, like from a script point of view, it could really really work. But I just keep thinking like strategically, like no, he's the best character to keep around. Like you just need the voice. Like you don't need to bring in the actor. You just put him on the screen just with a computer. Don't get rid of my boy.
Yeah,
I'm worried, Chris.
Well, and as soon as you say that, I'm like, well, Mike's bringing it to fruition here. If you say it out loud, But this trailer does, it showcases a high evolutionary, right? Played by I can't never pronounce his name. Chuck Woody Iwoje. He was in Peacemaker, right, as the leader of the team. So he's a really good actor. We get to see Counter Earth, which is where the High Evolutionary has mixed or created anthropomorphized animals in this world, and like literally Drax throws a ball like at like full speed at a little bunny kid's face. So that's pretty funny. You mentioned we get to see the baby Rocket scene in this, right, where he's getting picked from the cage, and his love interest in the comic books and the video games, Lyla, the Otter, as well. So not just Rocket, we get a Lyla. So there's a lot of emotional beats in this trailer, not just humor, but like very very emotional beats in here. I really enjoyed their comic book suits, right? The blue with the button up kind of. I don't know what that looks called, right? It's like not a conductor suit, whatever it is. And then the ship, the Bowie, is named after David Bowie, is in here, returning from Guardians Holiday Special. Overall, pretty effective trailer, Mike. We saw like one scene, or like one little clip of what's his name, the Golden guy, Adam Warlock as well. Like I don't know what he's doing, but he looks pretty cool in this. Some people were like, oh, look at the Among Us suits at the end of the trailer, that they're in like the big colorful suits. It looked like they're on like some sort of big, it looks like it's growing hair and skin at the end of the trailer. I don't know if you caught that.
It reminded me of the first kind of level in the Guardians of the Galaxy video game.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly kind of what the creature looked like, because it's been a minute since I played it, but I mean, there's a chance it could be very much the same. But yeah, those are kind of the vibes I got from it. But yeah, there's going to be some finality to this movie, right? Because Gunn has already kind of said that this is going to be the final form of this team of Guardians of the Galaxy. So I don't know, maybe this... I'm hoping that this will be a Rocket misdirect, and like maybe he'll kind of like ride off into the sunset, like, retire from the team type of thing, instead of like, expiring. Right.
Yeah. 100%. I think maybe he goes off with Lyla at the end, right? They send him off somewhere else to live their life. I would say the last thing I would add to it is really cool to see Groot holding like 6 guns, because he's using his branches to do the guns instead of everything. So. There's some cool shots in here. We don't know a lot. Again, Marvel trailers are known to fake us out, right? We know there's fake outs. So very, very excited to watch this coming in May of this year. I don't know what else to say. I'm disappointed in the little bit of Adam Warlock we got, but knowing Adam Warlock and the High Evolutionary are in here, I'm interested to see kind of how they interact in this as the villains. So we'll keep you guys posted. The other trailer that I think I don't know if we talked about this on the show, but we at least talked about it off air, is Indiana Jones 5. And we have an official title called The Dial of Destiny. So Indiana Jones and The Dial of Destiny, the title is now confirmed with our first trailer. And, there's a lot of emotions for Indiana Jones out there, right? People really, really don't like the last one, The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Some people, really don't like the second one. People love the first and third, Last Crusade and the, Raiders of the Lost Ark. So, coming back to this, there's a lot of, I think, expectations, emotions. People are like, why are they doing this? Harrison Ford's like 85 years old. Why is he doing a movie about being Indiana Jones? I will say it's really cool to see, them use the de-aging effect again, right? On Harrison Ford. It looks good. Marvel and Disney have really invested in that effect overall. You mentioned specifically the soundtrack, hearing those notes from John Williams' score.
Like, I don't want to say it's a cheat code, because cheat code makes it seem like no work is put into it, but yeah. I mean, when's the last time like you authentically heard the Indiana Jones theme song new, right? It's not like we've had like some sort of like a beloved like video game where they've been able to throw the soundtrack in there, or I don't know, anything else. Like, so it's just great to hear it again, and it's just it gives you tingles down your. I had goosebumps when I heard it, and I think I've seen that one at least. I've watched the trailer at least 3 times because I watched it on my computer, and I had to show it to my wife, and then I was like, no, I want to watch it on like my TV now. Hopefully, when I go to the theaters this month, I'll get to see it again on the big screen. My favorite part of the trailer is it seems like Indy is finally going to try to maybe reconcile with this idea of this magical element that seems to exist in his world. It's a bit that I really liked that they leaned into in the Uncharted video games, which are heavily influenced by Indiana Jones, of this idea of like you're going on a somewhat normal realistic adventure, but then you bump into these like kind of like edge cases of like, oh, what could this be? So I love that is, but also it almost seems like Indy is getting to this age where he's like, I'm too old. It doesn't matter if magic exists anymore. I'm not going to be around for much longer anyway. I'm just trying to make it from point A to point B without, falling down.
And there's a couple, again, there's no real story points here, but we get to see, I forget the actress's name. And I feel bad for it.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge?
Yes. She's his goddaughter of him, right? No relation. She's supposed to play the daughter of who was the older gentleman he worked with in the other movies? I'm horrible with Indiana Jones characters.
God, I don't know.
But you know what I'm talking about, right? He was like the he's like so it's supposed to be the granddaughter of him. So this seems fine. I'm very excited for this to watch this. I don't have. Like, there's no Steven Spielberg or George Lucas tied to this, right? It's James Mangold, who did Logan and The Wolverine, like 2 of the best Wolverine movies we've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm curious how much they'll feel the need to tie it back to previous Jones movies because, the Indiana Jones trilogy existed kind of before this huge franchise connected universe push. Like, you could pretty much watch really any Indiana Jones movie. They don't really all connect all that much. There's some character crossover, but they're kind of isolated adventures. So that's probably one of the reasons too why when you see like these little cameos and stuff pop up, you're like, oh, what was that character? They look familiar, but because they were never really intended to be like this thread that go through Indy's life. So I'll be curious if they try to maybe wrap it up in a way because he ain't doing another one of these.
I guarantee. I almost. So there's a rumor that this Dial of Destiny is a time travel plot, right? Because we see a lot of de-aged Indiana.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I thought the de-aging might just be kind of like
some flashbacks?
A narrative flashback advice.
So because there's several shots of this, there's rumors that this Dial, this magic is a time travel thing. And you're going to get a younger Indiana and an older Indiana interacting with each other at one point. But I feel whether it's time travel or not, I think Harrison Ford's only taking this movie if he's like, kill me at the end of this. Please kill my character at the end of this. I don't want people to ask me to do more of these ever again. Like I want to definitively kill Indiana Jones, please. Like, I think he did that with Star Wars, right? Like, with Han Solo, he's like, please just kill me off and I'll do it. I'll do it. Probably the Marvel movies he's going to be in, and he's like, I'll do it, but you got to kill me at the end of it. Like, I don't want people asking me for the next, however, until I crash an airplane again, if I'm going to be doing more of these movies. So I think time travel would fit into an Indiana Jones movie. Just to because I've seen this rumor on a couple news sites. I think time travel, along with like all the other spiritual, mystical things that have happened to him, even if you take out the aliens, like the Last Crusade deals with the chalice of Christ, right, and infinite life. Like, time travel's definitely not out of the realm of Indiana Jones, I think. So
it fits.
So I'm excited. Again, I think James Mangold does a great job, and I'm excited to see this. So if you guys haven't seen this yet, this is probably permeated more headlines than anything else. Check out that trailer below. Speaking of Star Wars, Han Solo, we got some confirmation from Disney that the next season of The Mandalorian 3.0 was confirmed for March 1st on Disney Plus, Mike. So,
ooh, let's go.
Yeah, it's around the corner. We had how long has it been since Boba Fett? Was that earlier this year or was that late last year?
Oh God, Time's a Flat
Yeah.
Circle. It's
Mandalorian
it's
season
fun.
2.5, right? That's what it was.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to fill in these Star Wars gaps, it's always fun to go to the toy aisle because the only time I ever visit the toy aisle in these department stores is around the holidays. And I was like, oh, they got a lot of Star Wars toys over here that are looking pretty decent. There's like an Ahsoka action figure that I was like, damn, that looks like Ahsoka. They did a pretty decent job there. The face isn't like a weird mash.
Was it a Black Series? Kind of.
The box did look black.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, those Black Series figures are pretty cool. It was December 29th, so we're almost at a year since the Book of Boba Fett. So
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, which again, like I said, literally Mandalorian season 2.5. So I'm very excited to get back to Mandalorian, the adventures of Din, Djarin, and Grogu. And apparently they showed off some footage at CCXP that I cannot find online, but they apparently features a return to Coruscant, which is cool. I don't know if it's is this Grogu escaping the Jedi Temple era, or is it like, Mandalorian going to Coruscant? I don't know where it exists, so I think that's pretty cool that they're going to get back to that, the big city planet, if you will. Something I thought we were 100% going to get this weekend, Mike, was a Across the Spider-Verse trailer. However, I was only given a release date for a trailer, Mike, and a new image. So we have a new image featuring Miles and Gwen from Across the Spider-Verse, and the trailer will be releasing on December 13th. So we are a little under, not next week, but I guess in 2 weeks we'll be talking about this trailer on the show. So until then, we get a Spider-Verse teaser image, right?
Obviously this movie is going to be great. We're going to love it. Even if the story was written by a cocained up monkey, it's still going to look amazing visually, right?
That's ironic you bring up cocaine monkeys, but yes.
Yeah, I feel like all of these images that they've released, they're not really hyping me.
Yeah.
They're just like screenshots from probably the most boring parts of the movie. And I'm not saying that there will be boring, but it's just like, that's just a screenshot from a dialogue scene.
Yeah.
Like that. I'm not getting much out of this. So I'm just like, I'm waiting for the good stuff, which is going to be the trailer,
Well, and I think the strength of the visual, uniqueness of the Spider-Verse film and now film series is how it looks in motion, right? Not the still images. Yes, it can be cool, and yes, we can see it, but like how they've done this art style and how it looks in motion is where it really comes to life and feels unique and beautiful. So I agree with you. The images aren't doing anything for me either, and I'm like, why are you holding back on this? Just give us the trailer when it comes out, then we'll look at the images. But I also put down, I remember this is coming out June 2nd, 2023, Mike. So we are coming up on the 6-month mark for this, I believe today or earlier this week. So very excited to get back into the good side of Sony's Spider-Man universes with that. The Flash is also coming out next year. I always forget about the Flash movie. They've really tried to bury it, or at least not promote it. But there was a new logo that came out for this movie. I didn't link it in here. I forgot to, Mike, so I'm going to have to go find that here in a second. But I think the biggest thing here is there's a promo art coming out with the Flash that showcases 2 Flash in 2 different suits. And one of them, they both appear to be Ezra Miller, Barry Allen's. We know there's 2 of them, right? But one of them, the one in the forefront, looks to be a repurposed Batman suit, spray painted to look like the Flash.
Oh yeah, because it looks like the ears are kind of chopped off the top.
And you see the Batman logo on his chest with the lightning bolt over it.
Yeah. That's interesting.
So I mean, we know that this takes place in Tim Burton's universe, so it looks like maybe one of the Ezra Millers will be taking a Batman suit and using that side. So
that's funny. It is pretty ironic that marketing this movie, they're just like, oh man, is there any way we can lean away from Ezra Miller when we're marketing this movie? And she's like, actually there's 2 of them in the movie, so you got to go the opposite direction. You're going to see his face twice on everything.
You're going to have to deal with it. Yeah, and I just included the new Flash logo, and let me tell you what, it looks like it could be the TV Flash logo. Is what I was going to, they keep updating this, tweaking the Flash logo every once in a while. I'm like, you're not really doing much to this. You're not really giving us anything.
There's this blue graphic. What is it? Does it say multiverse? Then it says bowl or something in the middle. Inno Bowl.
Is it Chrono Bowl, maybe?
Chrono Bowl, maybe? What's a Chrono Bowl?
I don't know. I mean,
is that like multiversal cereal? What's happening here?
Yeah, I don't exactly. I mean, I'd have a nice big Chrono Bowl of multiverse, but it's probably something they're going to do in there. I do keep seeing the logo saving the future in the past, or change the past in the future, or something like that. Looks like they're really just throwing everything at the wall here and seeing what sticks before it comes out. And I would really love to see a trailer for this, but
yeah, I googled Chrono Bowl, and I'm just getting watches, like physical merchandise. So if anybody knows what Chrono Bowl is, or maybe, I mean, it could maybe be something different, but it looks like some of the letters are covered up by Ezra. So
one of the Ezras. double the trouble there. So yeah, you can check out all that promo art and stuff in our links. The other thing that I got a lot of questions about this weekend is who the hell is Blue Beetle, and what is this? So our first official poster has been revealed for Blue Beetle, and I believe DC Comics shared this on Twitter. James Gunn shared it, confirming this will only come to theaters, not on HBO Max, and it shows off a very techno-organic, shiny blue and purple beetle. Right? Like, I don't. There's nothing you can glean out of this except they're going to use a very blue beetle for this.
Well, if we're getting a poster, that should mean theoretically a trailer is on its way. But it looks like our release date isn't until August, so maybe that's a little too far away to be getting a trailer already. Yeah. Not 100% sure there. I'm curious how much James Gunn had a hand in on this, right? He's tweeting it obviously because he is in charge of the studio now, so he's out there, putting his following count to work. But like, this film was pretty far along by the time he got in there.
Yeah, it's been in the can for a while. They've been in post-production.
So I wonder if he got in there, got his hands on it a little bit, or who knows, maybe he watched and was like, no, this is good. You guys made a good movie. No notes. I can't really do anything about it anyway. I just started, so. And,
well, Blue Beetle is an interesting, as a character, he's a young boy who gets, I guess, this blue space beetle attaches to him, and it gives him a suit that looks like Iron Man, and he can, like, I guess, summon weapons and abilities out of it, right? And it's kind of like talking to him.
It's like Iron Man meets Venom, but it's all happening to a teenager.
Yeah. And I think that's a very unique take that DC hasn't done before, right? Like, they're always pulling out their bigger guns. So, like, if James Gunn is like, yeah, this is totally fine, this is great because, it's a unique movie with a unique character, and hopefully we possibly see some more of these characters because they need to keep bringing out more and more. Blue Beetle was also in the same camp. They were filming at the same time they were doing Batgirl. So a lot of people were surprised that they did not can this right when Batgirl got canned. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool. I mean, for me, it's a cool looking poster, but like trying to explain this to somebody is going to be a nightmare until they get the trailer going and show what version they're pulling off. But yeah, like you said, it's like Venom and Iron Man meet together and take over. I guess not take over, work with a kid to fight crime. So, yeah, check out that poster in our show notes. Two more bits of DC Universe news, Mike, while we're here. James Gunn shared an image on his social from the comic book series Kingdom Come. And I talked to this with you. I said this is a very bold move, right? DC fans are fanatics through and through. They will take anything you throw out there and turn it into their own twisted thing, or say, if you didn't release this, to hell with you, we hate you. Two theories behind this image that he shared. One is a bunch of superheroes literally around a table making plans, which is probably what he's been doing every day at work for the past couple months, or I guess one full month. Or is he teasing literally the potential adaptation of this comic series, which deals with the old guard, quote unquote, older superheroes, Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Green Lantern, Batman, dealing with newer, younger superheroes coming in and, being just disasters, right? Kind of like a The Boys scenario of some of that stuff. So I don't think he's going to do that, but boy, the internet loved to talk when this dropped the other day.
Oh yeah, and he knew exactly what he was doing too when he tweets out these images. It's like official corporate communications now whenever he is out there tweeting something.
Yeah, so, it's not just fan stuff anymore. It's like, is this real? Is this not real? We don't know.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Yes. The other bit of news is I saw that Warner Brothers is closing a deal with Amazon to develop new DC animated content for the Prime service, not just HBO Max, which I think is a big miss overall. Why would you put your content on Prime and HBO Max, right? Like, why not use your service you own?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe maybe Amazon is like reading the tea leaves of things like Invincible. Like we're doing really good with this animated superhero stuff. Let's get more of it. Maybe that's, and then Warner Brothers like, you want to pay us how much for this stuff? Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, we were just kind of doing like this, quote unquote direct to video strategy for all of our DC animated stuff right now. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe this kind of like one-off adaptations of comic books are going to move over to like Amazon, and then these more like serialized things like Harley Quinn will stay at HBO Max.
I mean, I still think either way, that sucks that you got to go to both to watch it, right? Like, you got to figure out which one it's on if you're wanting to watch DC stuff. But I do think, we've talked about this before, Amazon is... They're doubling down on animated content, it seems like, right? With the advent of Invincible. So if they're doing animated stuff and Amazon wants to just license the characters and create the content themselves, I think that's fine, because I think Amazon is doing everything they can to get a lot of animated content on their stuff. Netflix, they can their animated stuff, right? Earlier this year, wasn't that the news?
Oh yeah, they gutted a lot of their animation.
Yeah, a lot of animations out the door, but Amazon seems to be going all in. So maybe that's what it is. It's just weird. I don't like the idea. I mean, I don't want one streaming service to rule them all, but like, I know where I can go watch all my Marvel content, right? Like, I don't have to pop between 3 different apps. So it just seems weird. All right, so we're going to go back into the trailer park. We now have 4 more trailers to talk about before the end of this episode. One, first and foremost, is the first full story trailer for the Super Mario Brothers movie. Mike, coming out from, is it Universal and
Illumination?
Illumination,
from the people that brought you the Minions.
Yes. So,
but before Chris, this trailer dropped early in the morning. We had promotional images, like they do a lot of times before trailers. Let's throw out some promo art, get people excited, get the news cycle going. And I was looking through them in the morning, and there were some shots of like Luigi and Mario in front of like their plumbing truck, which I didn't even know they had. So that's kind of fun to add to the universe. Some other like maybe stills from the trailer, and then a graphic of Luigi with the title that just says, "You've been Luigi'd."
You just got Luigi'd, is what
like
it says.
It's like you're getting Rickrolled, and I was like, "What is this? Why does this exist?" And I ignored it. Then later on in the day, the trailer comes out for the movie, and the first thing I do is go to the comments. Right, I want to see if people are talking about the new Chris Pratt voice. 'Cause we got a little bit more of it this time around. Wrong. What I see is a lot of links to things that I think they're going to be like analysis of the trailer, or like, oh, did you see this part down in the corner? Nope. It's all screenshots of people getting Luigi'd. So I ran with it, and I Luigi'd my fair share of people before we recorded this episode today. So
it's true.
Had a lot of fun with it. My wife caught on fast, because every time I Luigi'd somebody, I let her know, like, oh man, I just got this person. Then she's out in the world, and I'm texting her like, oh, you wouldn't believe what I just like found behind the toilet. And she was just like, don't send me Luigi. And I was like, that's why I married you. Yeah. You're on top of it. But it's been fun.
Yeah. It's not fun. It's not fun. I'm not going to say what you did, but you abuse your position. And
okay, this is what it's all about: setting up the bait, right? Yeah. You got to get the right bait, and then you have to wait, because if you prematurely send it, it's not as exciting if they just open up their phone and they just see it. They have to be in anticipation of a photo. So sometimes it works where you're just like, oh, I'm about to send you a picture. And then, wait a minute, and you could say like, oh, no, sorry, I think I deleted it. And they're like, oh, no, that's okay. It's like, oh, no, wait, I found it. And then they're on the edge of their seat. What is it? What are they sending me? Bam, you get Luigi'd.
Yeah, just I'm all for a good prank. I'm all for falling for this stuff, but don't abuse your abilities, folks. If people trust you for news, don't throw them under the bus twice in a row.
I do want to know if there's context to the quote, right? Like, is this something like Charlie Day is going to say in the movie or something? I'm not entirely sure, but I'll be waiting.
Oh, yeah.
But the trailer was fun. There's a whole lot going on here. Tons of a litany of Mario references out the wazoo. Outfit changes Mario Karts,
Mario Kart.
Rainbow Roads.
The Smash Brothers, Donkey Kong. He's already It looks like he's walking out into a Coliseum, but it's just like if you turn it sideways, this is only a Smash Brothers level, and he's fighting Donkey Kong.
There's like floating 2D levels, which maybe it looks like it could be part of like a training montage, maybe. It's kind of like the vibe I got from it. But
learning how to hit blocks and use the Mario stuff, right?
But there's a little bit of when they're highlighting Mario a little bit, there's like some sort of like graphic or like map or something that kind of appears behind him, and they're highlighting like Brooklyn and stuff like that. So I think that's basically what Chris Pratt is doing. He's just kind of doing like a very light Brooklyn accent for Mario, and it's fine. He says woohoo at the end of the trailer, which is fun. So I mean, this is just what you're gonna have to deal with, people. This is the Mario that you're getting. So accept it, or because like they're not gonna change it. The ugly Sonic ship has sailed. They ain't gonna undo it.
and it's probably, again, he didn't really say a whole lot in this. Like he says a little more, but not a lot. Like it's not like full sentences. You're not getting Charles Martinet, who just does the high pitched voice, to do a whole movie. You'd be annoyed the whole goddamn time. Honestly, it's fine. I mean, from what I saw this, I'm like, I'm going to see how they pull those references together. As long as it makes sense, totally cool with me, right? Like, I'm fine with it, as long as it's not just, like, beating us over the head. But, like, it looks fun. It looks good. It's a very, it feels like we're in the Mario verse if it was, like, using Xbox and PlayStation 5 graphics, right? And it looks fun. Peach seems to be kind of a badass, right? She's like, I'm going to go take on Bowser. I'm going to stand up for my kingdom. She's not just like a damsel in distress. So that's fun. I think it's got a lot of fun references in this. So I'm very excited to watch it. And just be thankful we're not getting a remake of the 1993 Super Mario Brothers movie, because, that would just be horrible all around. We've come a long way, and whether you think Chris Pratt's good or not, this movie's going to happen. So I love I love a good Mario. I love Mario games, right? Mario Kart, Mario regulars, they're all good times. Check out that trailer in our show notes. Trailer for you, Mike, here that dropped yesterday is The Last of Us, the first big official trailer. We've seen teaser trailers, right? This seems to be more of I'd say it's still lacking on the story, but a lot more characters, a lot more set pieces than we've gotten before, right? It's not just Ellie and Joel. There's a whole litany of other characters in here showing this. And apparently, I did see a thing that this show, and maybe the game, you'll have to tell me if I'm wrong, takes place 20 years after society is destroyed by the whatever this fungus thing is, right, that's taking over people.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I can't imagine that they would have a need to change it at all, because the story is just already so bulletproof, because they've already proved it, in a video game, right? If anyone's unfamiliar with the game's like story structure, it's about going from point A to point B. They got to get from the East Coast to the West Coast, and the first game is their journey to get out there, right? So they meet a lot of people along the way, and it's been a while since I played the first game, but there are familiar faces I see in the trailer. Like there's like a I don't remember if they're a father and son or an older brother and younger brother, that there's like, you have like a little game set piece with them for like maybe, 20, 45 minutes in the game. And like, oh, they're in there. They're probably like an episode or two or something like that. So it is fun to see that they're going to be bringing in these elements. But probably like the big reveal is the end of the trailer, when we finally get to see one of the bigger, I don't even know canonically if I remember what they call them in the game. Like I know each kind of like quote unquote zombie has like their own name. Like there's like clickers, and I think there's boomers maybe, or am I getting confused with the game Left 4 Dead? Because I know those types of zombies also had their own kind of like classification names. So I don't remember, but there's one of the bigger ones. One of the big guys is kind of revealed at the end of the trailer. It just looks great. The polish is there. Very hyped for this.
Yeah.
if you've played the game, you cannot wait.
Yeah, I would say the biggest two of the things I would say for me, one is that the point of this is she was bitten by one of these zombies and didn't turn, right? And didn't the infection didn't take, so she's some sort of part of the cure along the way.
Yeah, she has an immunity, and the storyline here is Joel has to take Ellie out west to a facility where they're trying to manufacture a cure, and then hijinks, drama, and death ensues. And it's very entertaining.
Yeah, so that, to me, I mean, again, from someone who didn't play the games, that's definitely something. I didn't know out the gate.
I'll have to keep reminding myself that you haven't played the game yet, because I don't want to spoil anything for you. And even if you kind of know, like, maybe the general way like the first game ends, they're still fun to be had along the way.
Yeah, is the villain? I'm just double checking. Are they called bloaters? Is that big one at the end?
Maybe. Yeah, that sounds like it could be a classification of them. I just know one of them, or maybe just in general, they're called clickers because they like.
Click. I seen the clickers are like the human size ones. And we saw that teaser kind of like in the first one of a clicker, because that's the sound they make. But yeah, so that was number one. Is that is that she's like immune to this, and they have to go out west was the other thing, right? That's the journey here that I didn't know that this game had. So that's really fun to see that in this trailer and kind of get excited for that. Because like there's the snow set piece, there's the city set pieces, right? There's the snow set pieces. Looks to be a really good time. It looks like the quality for the show is there, and I'm excited to watch it. And it's dropping a little over a month on HBO Max on January 15th. Something else, I don't think there's not a release date for this yet, but another trailer we got is the Gen V, the Boys spin-off show that's set. It's not the animated spin-off. This is actually a live-action spin-off set at the Voight College. Is that what they call it? I believe.
Vought
College. Yeah. So it's on a college campus about this one girl who's now getting there. They get to use their superpowers. This trailer is obviously very gory. Looks like someone has like blood tentacles they can use to attack people.
Like some sort of like blood telekinesis or something. It looked rad.
Yeah, there's obviously murder and hijinks and stuff. There's some cameos from like the other characters, right? I forget her name, the redheaded lady who's like second in command.
The kind of the CEO / interim CEO. I don't remember her name. I think I saw A-Train.
A-Train's in there for possibly a little bit. Yeah, so like they've got some crossover from the main characters at this college, but it looks to kind of be focused on this one girl who's starting there, and maybe she's uncovering something or figuring something out. I don't know. But it looks to be on par with gruesome gore and superpowers that you don't normally see. For a boys show. So this was pretty fun. I'm excited. There's no release date. It's coming out next year, 2023. We do know the Boys season 4 is currently filming as well, so we're going to be getting tons of the Boys content next year on Amazon Prime. Lastly, Mike, did you get a chance to watch this trailer at all before you saw the show notes? Okay.
I think this one was like the first of the week. I don't know. But this one was wild.
So it is a movie coming up called Cocaine Bear, and it literally, that is what the movie is about. It's a bear that there's this plane that was running away with cocaine. They dropped cocaine over. They dropped out of the plane over Kentucky and Tennessee. This bear finds it, and the idea is that for X amount of period, when this bear eats this cocaine, it's like the most apex predator in the entire world, right? Because it's on a murderous rampage. This is being directed by Elizabeth Banks, and produced by Phil Lord and Chris Miller as well, Mike, in case you didn't know that. But this looks to be just I would even say like maybe B-level, like quote unquote slasher comedy, where the slasher is a bear hopped up on cocaine the whole time.
The movie definitely knows what it is, right? And I feel like it had to reach some sort of talent pool level, right, in order for it to kind of get the budget to produce this visually effects heavy bear. In every scene, it looks hilarious. It looks exciting. And it just looks like one of those ideas where it's like you always see it, right? Like, oh, wouldn't it be hilarious if somebody made a movie like this? Well, they did it. This is going to be that movie.
So this bear, this is based on a real story, which is the crazy part. literally is 40 minutes away from me. The actual carcass, the stuffed bear is in Lexington, Kentucky, 40 minutes away from me.
Oh, snap. You gotta go see it.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen it. It's a staple for Kentucky. So it's very much going to be interesting. I'm excited to watch this. This is not going to be something I'm going to be taking very seriously, right? Like, this is not like I don't think it's this isn't like an Oscar bait movie at all. This is going to be exactly what it is, a movie about a bear on a murderous rampage after eating a bunch of cocaine. So I don't know what else to say. This is an R-rated trailer, so there's blood and language, right? So feel free to watch it. Maybe not around your kids, but I'm very interested to see how this movie turns out, Mike, through and through. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't. Is there anything else? I mean, this is that. I don't know what else to say about Cocaine Bear, but I just thought it's funny that we're getting a trailer. This is coming out in February. In a couple months.
I mean, I think Elizabeth Banks is very funny. She's got a little bit of a dicey directing history right now. The last thing she did was that Charlie's Angels, reboot. Mm-hmm. So who knows exactly what's in store for her future? But this one looks like it could be putting a stake in the ground of just like, take me seriously. I'm very funny.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and the weird thing is, it was pitched as Phil Lord and Chris Miller were producing a real a horror movie based on real events, and then it comes out that it's this. And I think the last thing was that her last thing she was Charlie? Yeah, I was trying to think. The only thing, last thing I could only think of her in was Lily Power Rangers, but I forgot that she voiced Wild Style in the Lego movies as well. For her. So yeah. Anyway, Cocaine Bear trailer in the notes. That's it for the show this week, Mike. Even though we just got off of Brazil Comic-Con, there may be some more stuff that leaks throughout the next couple days. We'll let you guys know. But yeah, if people know what you're up to, what you're doing, where can they find you at, man?
Oh, they can find me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, if people want to catch up with you, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Valdan87, VALDAN. I'm still on Twitter. I'm not really using it, but it's there. Message me, it's fine. But yeah, you can find us here every week on Superhero Slate. If people know about the show, all the stuff we're doing, preload some of our podcasts so you can listen to them when you're visiting your family this holiday season. We're going to get all that good stuff at.
Yeah, if you're forced to adopt an offline mode coming up here for the holidays, you can find us at superheroslate.com. Best place to find all the avenues we host our show. If we're on anybody's Spotify Wrapped, that's awesome. That's how you know you're a super fan, right? Yeah. If Superhero Slate shows up on your Spotify Wrapped.
Brian, a friend of the show, Brian, we were on his Spotify Wrapped. It's like the third podcast he listened to this year.
Nice.
So
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify. We got our upcoming release calendar on our website. That's very helpful. Our show notes, so many trailers, right? We got all of those links in our show notes. Go check that out. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. You get merch at superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you. Reach out. Let us know what you're watching, what you're listening to. Well, you're listening to us because I'm talking to you right now.
That's right.
So we love you, and we hope you come back next week.
That's right.
We love our super fans.
We love our super fans. And tell us what you're doing. I want to know what you guys are up to. We always say what we're doing. Tell us what you're doing.
What are you doing?
What are you doing with yourself? What are you doing?
Yeah. What chores did you get done this week?
Oh,
we want to know.
Make sure you wash behind your ears. You'll always forget to wash behind your ears.
Chris, I influenced a listener last week.
Oh, God.
They watched Holly and the Hot Chocolate, and they enjoyed it.
Oh, okay.
So
there you go.
that's all I have to say is my berating last week worked on at least one person.
You wore someone down enough to watch it. There you go.
Yeah.
That movie's now had 4 viewers. I wonder if they messaged.
Yeah.
Did they message the director on Instagram too?
They're out there.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up. Let's get out of here.
We love you, folks. We'll see you next week.
That's right. See ya.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to